Welcome to the Talkin VAWLS Network. My name is Boogie Bentley. Wanted to take some time to talk about Central Florida transfer wide receiver Jaylon Robinson. Entered the portal back around April the 21st, and still he has taken a couple of visits. He's been on campus to see Rocky Top, took an official visit to Ole Miss, and boy, oh boy, let's take a look at what went down at Ole Miss. Here's the video. We'll take a look at it.
So Uber driver, you can take me to the hotel?
Yes, sir. Wherever you need to go, I'm here. I only have one request after I drop you off.
What's that?
You're going to transfer to the SIP.
Say less.
Okay.
That's embarrassing. That is embarrassing. It's embarrassing for Lane Kiffin. It's embarrassing for the world of college football, but it is what it is. It's the way things go in 2022. You know, looking at the way this recruitment has played out for Jaylon Robinson, and again, he's a guy, he was a three-star prospect back in the class of 2018. He committed to Oklahoma and then ended up transferring to Central Florida, where he did play for Josh Heupel, put up some good numbers in the Josh Heupel offense in 2020, had 55 catches for 979 yards and 6 touchdowns. But the way this recruitment has kind of played out, again, he took the official to Tennessee, followed it up with an official to Ole Miss, and everything indicated that it was coming down to one of those two teams. Austin Price over at VolQuest.com, kind of said it was a 50-50 type deal. He couldn't really get a finger on the pulse of where Jaylon Robinson was going to end up, but now a third team has been entered into the mix. We'll take a look at it. You can see the tweet from Jaylon Robinson. He said 18th too long. That's when he was initially going to announce his commitment. He's now going to make that decision on the 15th. But we'll get into that third team in just a second. As always, do me a favor. Go ahead and smash that like button just below the video. It's quick, it's free, it's easy. It helps the channel. If you're new to the Talkin VAWLS Network, welcome. We're not experts. We're not insiders. We are fans just like you. So if you enjoy the content, make sure you subscribe. Click that bell for notifications. You won't miss out when we go live or when we drop a video. You guys know the catchphrase by now. For the fans, by the fans. The boys over at Volunteer Utility Services are fans just like you and I. They handle all commercial and residential excavation needs, utilities, septic tanks, irrigation installs, dog fences, and more. They also do landscaping, masonry, concrete work, and junk removal. Give them a call, 865-320-6194. That's 865-320-6194. Or check them out on social media. I'll drop the links to that in the description below. For the fans, by the fans. Show some love for not only an East Tennessee local business, but also a member of the Talkin VAWLS family. Volunteer Utility Services. So let's take a look at this article here from CanesWarning.com. Miami football gets visit from elite Central Florida transfer wide receiver Jaylon Robinson. A lot of people seem to be throwing that elite word around here lately, but I believe it belongs to us here on the Talkin VAWLS Network. Says here, elite Central Florida wide receiver Jaylon Robinson, who had a breakout season in 2020, is visiting the Miami football program on Wednesday and Thursday, according to multiple reports. Robinson had 55 receptions for 979 yards and 6 touchdowns in 2020 before a season-ending knee injury caused him to miss half of 2021. And, that's a lot of people go back to that 2020 season. And again, that was under Josh Heupel at Central Florida. So, this kid, Jaylon Robinson, he has that relationship with Josh Heupel, with this coaching staff. But what is more important in 2022 is relationships, familiarity, the fact that he knows Tennessee's offense. Is that more important? What he told Austin Price in an interview after his visit to Knoxville, he said that this is a 6 to 7 month decision. I'm coming in for 6-7 months trying to elevate my draft status. So where could he get that done more? Miami, Ole Miss, or Tennessee? But you also have to think that, again, in 2022, what is more important, relationships or NIL? And I think NIL does have to play a factor in this. I think it has to play a factor in this decision. But, guys, that works two ways. It works both ways. Josh Heupel knows what he has in this wide receiver room. Yes, he's got to find a way to replace VAWLS Jones in the slot. That's what we're looking at here when it comes to Jaylon Robinson, a way to replace VAWLS Jones in the slot. Now, Jalen Hyatt is a guy that has got a lot of buzz. He's got a lot of hype in the offseason, talking about him putting on size, getting bigger, more physical. We know he's got the speed, but can he do it every single day in the SEC? Can he take that next step? When we look at this wide receiver room for Tennessee, Cedric Tillman is the only proven guy, and that even includes Brew McCoy, guys. That includes Brew McCoy, a guy that's played one season of football in the last 3 years. You can't ignore that. The rest of this wide receiver room is unproven. It's hype. It's hope. It's, we keep waiting for Jimmy Holiday, Jimmy Callaway, Jaylon Hyatt to come on. There's a ton of talent in that wide receiver room, but can they get it done on the field of play? So when we talk about NIL, that works both ways. How comfortable, how confident is Josh Heupel with his wide receiver room? Is he willing to spend X number of dollars, whatever that number is for Jaylon Robinson in the bidding war, regardless of the NCAA cracking down? We know that's what it is. It's a bidding war in the transfer portal, in high school recruiting. That's the reality of the situation. So how much is Josh Heupel and this coaching staff, how much are they willing to spend? Or are they confident in what they have in that wide receiver room? Goes on to say here, Robinson originally signed with Oklahoma in the class of 2018 as an athlete and a kick returner. He was the 63rd ranked player in Texas in 2018. Says here has not returned kicks in college, but had 669 yards in kickoff and punt returns as a senior in high school. Goes on to talk about how Miami could use Robinson on returns. Talks about what they have in their wide receiver room. Again, Robinson entered the portal back on April the 21st, already taken visits to Mississippi, TCU, and Tennessee. Robinson told Sports Illustrated that Mississippi envisions him using him like former Rebels star wide receiver Elijah Moore. TCU is the hometown school, and Robinson knows the staff of the new Horned Frogs head coach Sonny Dykes when he coached SMU. Tennessee being considered with former UCF coach Josh Heupel. There you see the tweet, May 18th, which again I showed you at the beginning of the video. He has now pushed that back to May the 15th. Says he's got a relatively quick decision to make with a tweet on Monday. He'll announce on May 18th, again pushed back to the 15th. Mississippi is considered the prohibitive favorite to sign Robinson via on3.com. That projection was likely made before Robinson was considering Miami. And again, that throws a wrench into this whole thing and makes me again go back to NIL. If it was, elevating your status, elevating your stock in the upcoming NFL draft, I think Tennessee or Ole Miss would be a better fit than Miami for being able to do that. The article here goes on to say Robinson would give Miami a dynamic playmaker, likely as a potential kick returner, slot receiver. Xavier Restrepo projects as the starting slot receiver for Miami in 2022, with rising sophomore Rashad Smith receiving a significant amount of snaps. Smith is also a dynamic playmaker with game-breaking ability. Says Robinson told SI he is not deterred by a deep wide receiver core with the program he signs with and realizes he needs to prove himself with his new team. Georgia was initially considered by Robinson, but he chose to take his final visit to Miami. Robinson realizes he has to prove he is healthy after the injury last season. So again, a lot going into this, man. Going back a couple of days ago, maybe yesterday, can't remember, it all blurs together at this point. I felt pretty confident that Jaylon Robinson was going to end up at Tennessee, but the more this plays out, the more it feels like a bidding war, the more that I feel like Tennessee maybe backed off. Maybe call me crazy. Maybe that's just the emotional fan side of me coming out. But it just seems like adding the visit to Miami, maybe they're trying to get that bidding war, trying to get a little more out of Ole Miss using Miami because they didn't get that bidding war between Tennessee and Ole Miss. Again, call me crazy. Maybe I don't know what I'm talking about. That's just the way this thing feels to me. It's unfortunate because I think Jaylon Robinson could have added some nice depth, could have given you, another option in the slot if Jaylon Hyatt doesn't really take that next step that we are hoping and expecting him to take. But I think Jaylon Robinson would have done a nice job adding that depth to the wide receiver room. But at the same time, we saw what Josh Heupel can do. We saw what this offense can do. He put Velus Jones into the NFL. He put Javonte Payton into the NFL. He took Cedric Tillman from 8 receptions to a 1,000-yard season. And talk about a guy that's coming back on a business trip, coming back for that one last ride with Hendon Hooker. Cedric Tillman has an opportunity to really elevate his draft stock going into the 2022 season. But that's going to wrap it up for this video. If you have not done so yet, please smash that thumbs up on the way out the door. Go hit the comment section. Let me know your thoughts. How do you feel about Jaylon Robinson? How do you feel about the wide receiver room in general? Also, go check out the merchandise of the Talkin' VAWLS Network, bonfire.com/store/Talkin' VAWLS. Again, we got those new Beat Bama, Beat Florida, and Beat Georgia shirts. Check those out. But again, any and all support greatly appreciated. Bonfire.com/store Talkin VAWLS. But that's going to do it for this one. This is the Talkin VAWLS Network. My name is Boogie Bentley. Go Big Orange.